YouTube. Okay, we're officially live. Welcome everybody. Swinging Bull here with PB Alerts, and welcome to another one of my earnings streams. We have Interactive Brokers reporting earnings, and we have CSX reporting earnings. They're both supposed to report right at 4 p.m. Eastern, so let me just kind of stay on the charts for a second and see if we get a reaction pretty quickly here. Just going to look at the 1 minute chart on TradingView. Okay. CSX downtrending today, as was most of the market. Let me take a quick peek at SPY and the triple Qs while we're waiting here. Let's see. Yep. So overall downtrend in the markets today. This is the 15-minute chart. All right, let's go back to CSX and Interactive Broker. Should be getting a reaction any moment now. I'm showing, let's see, Interactive Broker, yeah, I'm showing 4 p.m. Eastern. The forecast EPS 50 cents, forecast revenue $1.41 billion, and their anchored VWAP just below 65. They're trading above that today. CSX again supposed to report right at 4. So we'll go back to the candlesticks here in a minute. Forecast EPS 0.42, forecast revenue 3.6 billion. Their anchored VWAP just above 34. They're trading above that today. Let's go back here. Okay, starting to get some volatility here. There we go. 1 minute chart. Okay, Interactive Brokers on the move. Closed the regular session at $68.52. It just wicked up to 71 bucks just now. Let's see if this move holds. Be nice to get 2 positive reactions. But we'll see. CSX is really volatile. Look at Interactive Broker first. Yeah, CSX popped up to 36.55 and came all the way back down. Yeah, Farouk on Discord. Watching Interactive Broker here. It's popping up. It's up about 3.5% right now. All right, let me get the data for everybody. I'll go over Interactive Broker first. And going into the earnings, they had a trailing 12-month PE of 35, EPS of 1.9. They do pay a small dividend, 0.4%, 0.47%, almost 0.5%. They paid. It's only 8 cents a share. It's not a big dividend at all. Kind of tiny, to be honest with you. They paid the last one out on August 29th, and the time before that was May. So yeah, quarterly dividend, just a tiny amount, 0.5%. Okay, so Interactive Broker popped up initially. Now it's come back down a little bit. Let's see if I got EPS and revenue, any guidance, any commentary from the CEO, CFO. Okay, Interactive Broker did have a double beat. So a graphic from the earnings correspondent here. Oops, let me minimize that. There we go. Keep the price on the left. It looks like CSX is getting a bullish move here. I'm going to go over to that here in a second. But Interactive Broker forecast EPS was 0.54. They reported 0.57, so a small beat there. Revenue 1.52 billion was the expected numbers. They reported 1.61 billion, so small beat there as well. So double beat nonetheless. Year over year, quarter over quarter numbers, nice and green. Let me move this back over. And let me see if I got anything else I can give to everybody. Give me 1 second. Okay. Wolf Financial posted some good info on it. Pre-tax profit for Interactive Broker totaled 1.31 billion, while net income came in at 1.19 billion. So nice and profitable company. Okay. EPS was 0.59, adjusted EPS 0.57, which beat the estimate of 0.54. Well, look at CSX, up almost 3%. So Interactive Broker revenue reached 1.66 billion, and that beat expectations of 1.51 billion, supported by net interest income 967 million. And the company declared a dividend of 8 cents per share for the quarter, which is the same as they did in their last dividend payment. I'm going to go to their investor relations page and see what time they're going to do their earnings web call. And while I'm pulling that up, I want to look at something else real quick. Let's see what their earnings reactions were on the previous earnings. What the stock price change was one day after. Here, I'll pull this over here. X out of that. Okay, let me just scroll down a little bit. And if you want some good free data on the earnings history, I'll post this link in the comments. And you can use this link too to look up other stocks, but TipRanks usually has some pretty good data just sitting there for free. So, yeah, I mean, Interactive Brokers coming off 2 back-to-back negative reactions. 3 earnings ago, they had a positive reaction. 4 earnings ago was negative. So, not really a big mover. 3% to 8% respectively. Let me move this back over. Action pack on X. Anything on LBRT? Let's take a look real quick. Always willing to look at some tickers for the viewers. This is Liberty Energy, LBRT. When do they got earnings? Let's see. LBRT. So, oh yeah, it was today. Okay. All right. So this is for action pack on X. LBRT, the information I'm seeing on earnings whispers, they're not going to report till 6:05 p.m. Eastern. You got about 2 more hours before we get their earnings data. So a little bit of time to burn. Their forecast EPS is negative 0.01. Forecast revenue almost $1 billion, 959 million. So we'll see what they come in at. They're anchored VWAP just below 12 bucks. They're trading just above that today. But around 6 o'clock, 6:05 Eastern, LBRT is going to put their data out. So we don't have anything on that right now. We go back here to the candlesticks. Interactive Broker price action looks a bit sloppy. A lot of ups and downs here. Let me look at a few other things. I'm going to go to their investor relations page, see if I can get some. Usually the CEO and CFO will release a little bit of commentary before they actually do the earnings call. I'm just curious what they're saying. Let me go back to CSX too. LBRT's chart looks a little funky too. Okay, CSX. All right, yeah, CSX has a nice bullish move here. We're going to talk about them next. Okay, trading at 36.90 and after hours. Level 2 order book has an order of 28,000 at 36.05. We'll see if that gets eaten through, or is that going to hold as support and more buy orders will come in on top of that. We'll see. Okay, IBKR investor relations. All right. I'm going to put this link in the comment for everybody. Okay, I'll put the link on the bottom of my screen. I'll leave it up there for a little bit. Let everyone, give everyone time to screenshot that. So their web calls at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So in about 20 more minutes. And if you go to that link I just posted, right there on the homepage, you can download their financial results and everything. So if you want a deeper dive into it, you can click there. Let me go to press releases. and see if we got anything from, okay, their press release is a PDF document. So let me just see if there's anything there. Okay, here it is here. So we went over some of this stuff already, specifically the EPS and revenue. And they're just going to break down some of the financial highlights. Commission this for Interactive Broker, IBKR. So commission revenue increased 23% to $537 million on higher customer trading volumes. Customer trading volume in stocks and options increased 67% and 27% respectively, while futures decreased 7%. That's interesting. So on Interactive Broker, futures trading decreased by 7%, but stock and options went through the roof. Net interest income, this was one of their big money makers. Net interest income increased 21% to $967 million on stronger securities lending activity and higher average customer margin loans and customer credit balances. That's a positive. And then they got some smaller line items here. Other fees and services, that was down 8%. They brought in $66 million, led by a decrease of $12 million in risk exposure fees, which was partially offset by a $3 million increase in FDIC sweep fees. Execution, clearing, and distribution fees decreased 21%. I suppose that's good for their user, but not good for the company. And that was driven by lower regulatory fees as the SEC Section 31 transaction fee rate was reduced to 0 on May 14, 2025. Okay, well, that makes sense. All right, and greater capture of liquidity rebates from certain exchanges due to higher trading volumes in stocks and options. All right, let's scroll down here a little bit. This is them declaring their dividend. The record date or record date is December 1st. So you need to own shares of Interactive Broker be owner of record on that day. If I was interested in like a dividend capture strategy, I'd probably buy shares a day before and then probably sell some covered calls with the expiration date after the ex-div date. And that way I can bring in some income on the covered calls and get the dividend. So kind of turn it into a dividend income capture strategy to like a double income with the covered call. That's what I would do anyway. Again, dividends just kind of a drop in the bucket. It's like 0.5% or something. Customer accounts increased 32%. Okay. Let's take a look. Okay, I don't see any commentary from the CEO or CFO, so they're probably just going to wait for the earnings web call to discuss the results. And that's in about 17 more minutes. They're going to have that conference call. I'm personally not going to stream it, but I did post the link for everyone. If you wanted to watch it, you can just go there and watch it. Let me look at a few other things, and then we're going to go to CSX because they're the ones with the positive reaction here. IBKR initially had a positive reaction, but it's come down to, it's trading just above where it closed the regular session at right now. So investors are just waiting for the earnings web call to make a decision what they want to do. Let's look at this. Also, the implied move for Interactive Broker is around 5%. All right. I'm going to post this data from the Wall Street Engine. This is going to be the EPS and revenue data. I'll put that on the bottom of my screen so everyone can just quickly see that, whoever's watching the stream here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that came out okay. All right, let's talk about CSX. Let's see what's up with them. Investors are liking the earnings data so far. All right, double beat by CSX. Let's take a look at this. Expected EPS was 0.42. They reported 0.44, so they beat that. Forecast revenue $3.57 billion. They reported $3.58 billion, so just barely beat that. Nonetheless, double beat. Year-over-year numbers could use some improvement. Quarter-over-quarter kind of in line. Let's see what else I can find on CSX for everybody. And I'm going to post this data from earnings time in the comments. It says EPS and revenue results for CSX. I'll go ahead and post that. There we go. All right. I'm going to go to Interactive Brokers Investor Relations page and see what I can get from there. Now, CSX revenue was kind of in line from the same time last year, down 1%, but adjusted net earnings, $818 million. I do got one statement from the CEO of CSX. They say network is operating well. We see opportunities to leverage operational strength for long-term profitable growth. That's the only statement I have so far. But that's okay. And their operating income was $1.09 billion. They did miss on that. The estimate was $1.23 billion, but not facing investors. Still sitting up here, up 2.5%. All right, let me go to their webpage real quick and see if we got anything for any more commentary or what have you. All right, CSX's earnings web call, they're also at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, so about 15 more minutes. And I'll post this link for everyone as well. Just trying to save everyone some time. If you want to watch these web calls, look in the comments. I got the link for CSX earnings web call and the link for Interactive Brokers web call, all in the comments here. I'll put CSX up there for a few moments, let people screenshot that, and then get to the web call there. Let me just let me scroll down a little bit. Okay, so here's the earnings conference call. I want to see, okay, yeah, let me go here to news. All right, so here, this is for CSX. Let's take a look at some of this. So third quarter operating income of $1.09 billion and net earnings of $694 million or 37 cents per share, excluding a non-cash goodwill impairment of $164 million in this year's third quarter results. Adjusted operating income was $1.25 billion and adjusted net earnings were $818 million. So that non-cash goodwill impairment of $164 million helped kind of boost their numbers up a bit. And third quarter of 2024. Okay, so yeah, they're just saying the difference between the same time last year. Okay, here's some good commentary here. Actually, this was the statement I just read, but President and CEO Steve Angel. So third quarter operational performance reflects the dedication of our workforce and our commitment to running the best railroad in North America. Okay, here's another statement. We are proud that the network is operating well, and we see clear opportunities to leverage that operational strength moving forward. Looking ahead, CSX is well positioned to build on this momentum to deliver long-term profitable growth and create value for our shareholders. All right. And then they're going to do their earnings web call. So the CSX executives will conduct a conference call with the investment community at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. That's the link on the bottom of my screen. Will take you right there. So they got good earnings, it looks like. So congrats to the CSX Bulls. It's not up a ton, but let me see what their reactions were to the previous earnings. Go here to CSX. Okay, let's take a look. And here, I'll post this link too. This will give you a little deep dive into their previous earnings too, if you wanted to look at that. You can see a lot of the operational highlights and lowlights. kind of go back and forth. See, like kind of the low lights would be like the bear case, highlights would be the bull case. But let me scroll down here. Kind of a mixed bag as far as them beating EPS for like the past 10 earnings. So they go on a run, like beat EPS 3 times in a row. Then they missed EPS 3 times in a row. Then they beat it twice in a row. A little back and forth there. Yeah, CSX, not really a big mover. The last time they had earnings, or they reported earnings on July 23rd, there's basically no change one day after. Now, did it run, after one day after? We could easily look at that. Yeah, so here was the last earnings. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of that. There we go. Okay, so I got lines all over this chart. So the last earnings, yeah, July 23rd. Yeah, but the few weeks after that, they did trend up a little bit before falling off a bit. It looks like a big move, but it's really not. It's just like a $4 move, really. It just looks big. CSX ultimately isn't really too volatile. I mean, it's got some moves every now and then, like back here from February to April. That was the 20% correction the market experienced. That was probably not even CSX's fault. That weekly, this is the weekly chart. Or downtrend right there. Probably not even their fault, but they don't really trade in a huge range. Maybe 25 to 35 bucks. This is dating back to 2022. So, it's actually January of 2022. So almost 4 years of price action. They basically trade from 25 to 35, So looking back at that historical price action, anytime this would have been a sweet dip buy here back in April. Any stock in April would have been a sweet dip buy, right? That's when the correction ended and everything went on to rally. Let me go back intraday here, 5 minutes. All right, so they're still up. They're still sitting up here. It's looking like a grats to the CSX bulls. Again, this is just not a big moving stock. It doesn't have a lot of big price swings, which is a good thing. That kind of tells you that it's somewhat stable, Okay. So we got the earnings web call for Interactive Broker and CSX. It starts in about 8 more minutes. Again, I'm not personally going to stream those calls. I just like to come in here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and go over like the stock price reaction. And CSX, it got rejected pretty good over here around $37. That was back in August, so just a few months ago. It's trading right around that level right now. This is $37.10. Let me go to TradingView real quick. Hold on. Yeah, same thing. So you can see right now in the post market, it's trading at 37.23. It's literally trading right where it had gotten rejected a few months ago. So literally right where the price is at now is kind of a level of interest. Zoom out a little bit more. Yeah, it was also a pretty good level of interest in November of 2024. So that's level number 1 to keep your eye on. This is right where it's at right now in the post market. And I could probably just draw a horizontal line on here and keep it on there, right around there. So right now it's the price is dealing with that level right now, and after hours we'll see if it ends up getting rejected again like it's done in the past, or if it can just breach right through and make a run towards 40. That's what happened in March of 2024. Like end of February into March of 2024, it made a run to 40. It just couldn't breach it and stay above though. Let me check the monthly chart just to see here. Yeah, so that's kind of like their all-time highs, like right around 40 bucks. Let me go back to weekly chart here. Zoom out. Yep, you can see right here. the high. On the weekly chart, the all-time high is $40.12, according to TradingView. So if it can deal with this level around at 37 where it's at now, I'd expect to run to 40, but you know, it's never been over that and held above there before. So it's kind of in uncharted territory. Not really going to go over, I mean, bigger time frame support levels. Again, this is the weekly chart. It's probably going to be like low $30 range. You see this big volume shelf sticking out here. That's probably going to be good support, around 32 to 33 bucks. Might not even need to worry about that because it is getting a positive reaction from these earnings results. Up 3% in after hours, which equates to a little over $1 per share. Again, not really a big mover, is it? Dealing with this $37 level right now, this would be the level that it's going to reject that. That was the level we spotted on the bigger time frame weekly chart. So, but you know, if buying pressure persists, it'll probably make a run to 40, and then I'll have to make a decision around 40 bucks because that's where the all-time high is. Interactive broker, nothing going on with that. I would have figured this would have had a bit more action. It did have an initial positive reaction, then it 100% retraced back down, and now it's slightly green in after hours, up like 50 cents a share, but it's really nothing going on with that. Their earnings web calls start in about 5 minutes, so maybe we get a secondary move, or I mean, at this point, there really hasn't been a move. I mean, I know there was some volatility where it kind of rallied a little bit and then retraced 100%, but at the end of the day, it's sitting flat. So maybe it decides to actually make a real move once the upper management starts talking about the earnings data in more detail. Again, it's in about 3 more minutes. Back to SPY and QQQ. Obviously a downtrending day. I know a lot of people in the Discord were playing puts today, so we had a lot of members making money today playing the downside. Our other coach, Mad Maverick, he was alerting puts today, and I know members made some money off him. I was live trading yesterday with our lifetime members, and got an excellent scalping day yesterday. Played this second leg down here. This is yesterday's price action on SPY, but we totally caught this leg down here. Obviously took profit down here before it kind of V-shaped recovery at the end of the day. Just talking about this one leg down here. So that was a lot of fun. Let me look at some of the trades I closed out today. I'm glad I was kind of taking profit earlier today. I'm glad I did. I didn't make a ton of money, but I made some. This is my alert channel here in the Discord. Again, I mainly write contracts. I'm a contract writer. That's my bread and butter. So basically that means I'm always on the selling side of the opening transaction. And then when I go to close out my trades, I'm actually buying them to close. So kind of the opposite of what people are used to, you know, buy a call, want it to go up, buy a put, want it to go down. I trade a little differently. I like writing contracts, and took some decent profit today. This was a JetBlue trade I closed out, got 89% on that one. And then I had 2 bull trades, ticker symbol bull, B-U-L-L. I got 45% on this one, 22% on that one, and 57% I got on the Ford trade. Again, I didn't make a ton of money, but the percentages were there, and I was happy with that. But yeah, just quick peek at my alert channel. I do have a bullish put credit spread open on bull as well. That's still open. I'm just going to leave that open. Basically just want bull to stay above $10.79. Let's see what bull's trading at right now. Yeah, Bulls trading at $11.64 in after hours. It closed the regular session at 11.75. So I still got some good cushion from my short strike up to the price of Bull. So I'm not worried about this credit spread at all. The expiration date is next Friday, the 24th. So here's a nice little graph that shows you the trade here. And I got $21 credit per spread. I usually open a handful of these. So that basically means 21% potential return on capital. For $1 wide spread, your broker requires $100 in buying power to be put up while the trade's open. And if you can get $21 a spread, that's basically 21% return on capital, which is good in the spread world. I like to get at least 20% or more on these spread trades. Okay. But yeah, just need Bull to stay above my break even, which is 10.79. And the closer we get to expiration, which is just a week from now, a week from tomorrow, as long as it's staying above 10.79, you'll see more and more profit starts showing its face on the trade. And who knows, maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if I have like 75% of the max gain on the table, I may go ahead and just take it and put it in my pocket and take all my risk off the table. But we'll see what happens. I run a lot of the wheel strategy and in the Discord, so all the members know exactly when I'm entering all my wheels. This was a Google put credit spread that members made some decent money on. This one paid 20%, I believe. Yeah, it was $250 wide spread. It paid $50 a spread. So it's about 20% return on capital. This had a 77% chance of profit, which was real nice. But yeah, this is these are some of my other trades. Made $200 on this day. And I just slowly, I target weekly and monthly income. And, I do pretty well. I've been trading like this for years and years. So, if you're looking for a new home, definitely check out our Discord. There's some links in the description. You can join the Discord for free and just see how you like it. Or if you just want to jump right in, maybe you've been curious about being on the selling side of the opening transaction and curious about being a contract writer, and if you want to just jump right in and start learning about it right away, then you can join my coaching group. And if you send me a DM either on Discord or my X account, I'll send you a 20% off code for my coaching. The coaching is only like 30 or 40 bucks a month. I'll make that back for you on the very first trade. It's no problem. The last person I had join my coaching group, the very first trade, he made like 6 months worth of the coaching subscription. So he's going to be around for a while. He's already having fun making a bunch of money with me. But yeah, anyways, just wanted to go over some of the recent trades I've done, and I felt a little sketchy about the market earlier today. And sometimes I just get feelings, and that's when you see me taking profit on my positions, which I'm glad I did, of course, because after the morning move, the opening move, it was just a 2-leg downtrend from there. It did recover. Actually, that was 2 days ago. Let me go back here to today's price action. Yeah, it downtrended all day. All right. So that's why I even told my Discord members that I was taking profit on my positions this morning. I was up here, and I just felt like the markets were a little shaky, especially with the renewed U.S.-China tariff war. Is basically a tariff war now, a trade war with the escalation of that recently. More specifically, the price action from last Friday. I mean, go to the daily chart and look at last Friday's candle. That was a 20-point move that SPY had in one day. It's been a while since we had a 20-point move. Now, on Monday, it did print a bullish inside bar, which was nice to see, which was followed up by another green day. It actually, on Tuesday morning, actually gapped down and then rallied back up for the rest of the day. And then we gapped up on Wednesday, ended up closing red, but nonetheless, it was still above the previous candles. And then this price action is just very, very sloppy price action. So that's why I decided to take profit on most of my positions this morning, and I totally avoided the subsequent continuation of the downtrend that happened today. And all of my open positions would end up going from green to drawdown. And I would be sitting on a bunch of drawdown right now. I totally avoided that. I'm not saying I know the future, because I don't, but just every now and then I get a feeling when the price action on the daily chart is real sloppy. If you have a chance to capture profit and take all your risk off the table while we await for these candles to start looking a little cleaner, that's usually what I'm going to go ahead and do. And it worked out perfectly. It worked like a charm today, and I'm glad I did it. So now that most of my risk is off the table and I'm sitting mostly cash, now I have the luxury of sitting on the sidelines and seeing the market for what it is, and not being biased on a position that I'm like tied up in. You know what I mean? So now I can relax and see the price for what it is. And I already kind of knew the price was pretty sloppy the past week, just kind of all over the place, from last Friday to today. We'll see what kind of candle prints out tomorrow. But, now I have no emotion involved, no stress. Michael Anthony asking if CSX beat. Yes, CSX did beat. Let me go back to their chart real quick. CSX did beat. Investors did like the earnings data. It's got a nice and positive reaction. This is the chart on the right here for CSX. This white line, I didn't put that on the intraday chart. This is a level from the weekly chart, which I think holds some pretty good weight. It's very interesting. That's exactly where it rallied to and kind of got rejected, taking a little breather right now. Nonetheless, the price is still green. We did look at the previous 4 earnings reactions on CSX a little bit ago, and CSX is just not known to really be a big mover. So I wouldn't be expecting like some monster rally or anything, because it's just not known to be a big mover, which isn't a bad thing. It means the stock price is relatively stable, and they're a decent company. They did pull a nice profit as well. Their net income was good. But keep your eye on 37. That's my resistance level number 1. And then resistance level number 2, this is from Michael Anthony on YouTube. It's going to be right around $40, and that's where their all-time high is. And that was a point of rejection. In previous price action on the bigger time frames was $40, as was 37. So it's trading just below 37 right now. If it can break above 37 and hold, it's going to be a slow move. It might be like watching paint dry, but nonetheless, if it could stay above 37 for a day or two, I think it's an easy move to 40 to go test all-time highs. And that's probably where my profit-taking level would be, because anything above that is just kind of uncharted territory. We don't know what lies ahead above $40 for the stock. So that's just kind of what I'm looking at on CSX. Yes, they did double beat. They had some great positive net income, and investors are liking it. Their earnings web call is actually going on right now. I'm not going to be streaming their actual web call with the upper management, but specifically for Michael Anthony on YouTube that asked about it. That link on the bottom of my screen, that'll get you to the investor web call if you want to go watch it. Or any investors of CSX out there listening to the stream. You can literally listen to the upper management right now if you go to that link. But yeah, I just wanted to show everyone some of the previous trades that I've been trading, and just kind of let everyone know types of trades that I do over here in the Discord. So yeah, if you're looking for a new home, definitely come check me out. My name's TheSwingingBull on the Discord. If you do join the Discord, tag me in the chat. I'll come by and say hello. Maybe we can chat for a little bit. Maybe there's something I can help you out with right away. Who knows? But yeah, that's really all I got for today. Hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Again, my name's TheSwingingBull with PB Alerts. Hope everyone has a fantastic night. And until next time, I'll see everyone in the next stream. Cheers.